Greetings, greetings. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Ori Honor. And today I will be discussing what is Ori. Now, Ori, translated literally from Yoruba, means head. As you probably already noticed, if you know anything about Orisha, is that one of the root words in Orisha is Ori. And it is commonly known among Ifa devotees that Ori is closer to God than Orisha. What does this mean? It means that your knowledge of self, your pursuit of good character, otherwise called Iwapele in Yoruba, your connection with God, which lies in your mind and in your soul, which is one, is the foundation of your spiritual growth. So before you can go to Orisha, before you can even go to Eshue Legba, you must be at peace with Ori. You must be peaceful within yourself, be peaceful with others. You must work to be in harmony within yourself. You must work to be in harmony with others. And that starts with Ori. Two aspects of Ori. One is Ori Apari Inu, and the other is Ori Apere. Ori Apere Inu is the inner self, the character. Ori Apere represents the throne of your consciousness. Ori Apere represents the epitome of your potential. Ori Apere represents your destiny, otherwise called Ayamo in Yoruba. So, what do we learn by looking at the two aspects of Ori? We learn that our minds, when we're born, even before we're born, like when we're in our mother's womb, our minds and our souls contain the map for our destiny, for our ultimate destiny, for our contract with God, for our contracts with other spirits and other beings. It's already mapped into our minds. And it is the job of us and us alone to take care of Ori, to clean Ori, to honor Ori, in order to fulfill one's destiny, to reach the epitome of your destiny, to take that seat on your throne in your mind and your soul, and to exact your personal power and manifest all of the abundance and prosperity that you are worth. So this describes Ori Aperi. Why is it important to honor Ori? Well, I've already described Ori's entanglement with with one's destiny. This is why it's important. I want to talk about Ori. First of all, let me talk about why I want to talk about Ori. I want to talk about Ori because me personally, like, I'm aware of the attraction to Orisha, you know, Ifa concepts and spiritual systems, like, you know, Black people here in the States who are descendant of the enslaved, you know, who have connection to this religion that has been buried and lost, because our religion, not religion, it's more than a religion, our connection with the universe and with nature, honored through this tradition of divination and connection with nature and the elements, was demonized by the enslaver, and it went completely underground. Thankfully, the ancestors saved some bits and pieces of our connection to Ifa and to other West African spiritual traditions and just African traditions, period. It's been salvaged in a lot of our histories and our family legacies in some shape or form. Me personally, it was growing up in a church and singing call and response. It was growing up in a church and dancing in church and watching people get taken over by things outside of themselves, you know. This is just a small vestige of what had been saved from our lineage, our spiritual lineage. So now we're in 2020, and there's so many Black people who are realizing that the religion that we were given, it doesn't do justice to who we are. It doesn't do justice to who we're meant to be, to our full potential. And they're turning to the traditions. But it's confusing. I know it continues to be a little bit confusing for me, because it's like, it's been such a long time. But let me stop there. Yeah, it has been a very long time since we were connected to this. And there's a lot of misconceptions, there's a lot of misunderstandings, there's a lot of confusion around Orisha, around the whole system, period. Speaking from my personal experience, when I learned about Orisha, I became very fixated on two very specific Orisha. One, Yemaya, otherwise called Yemoja in Ifa, but she's also known as Yemaya. and also Oshun. I became very fixated with these two Orisha. And I became very fixated on the other Orisha in terms of like study. Like really just studying what they represent, like how they appear in the world, and things of this nature. But I did myself a disservice by not focusing on Ori, because Ori is greater than the Orisha. Ori comes first. Ori must be honored after you honor God and before you go to Orisha. Your mind has to be right. Your mind has to be clean. You can't come to the Orisha with a dirty mind, because if it's Oshun coming to, she's not gonna be feeling that. Okay, not at all. Yes, you must keep a clean head. So, I think it's good to honor Orisha, to, give the offerings, want to feel a connection to the Orisha, so you give the offerings. I feel that, I've been there. I practice in my own personal way, and it's come from a lot of different experiences that I've had with this system. And it's important, but it's also important to be self-knowing, to be self-assured in what you're doing, to be confident. It's important. If you're approaching Orisha, like for real, you about it like that, like you gonna approach the Orisha, you better have your mind straight. Your mind's got to be right. Otherwise, it's just merely a superstition that you're practicing. When your mind is clear and your mind is free from the lower vibrations of fear, worry, lack, scarcity, poverty, it opens yourself up. It opens yourself up to receive the ashe from the Orisha that you want to talk to, that you want to have an encounter with. That's why honoring Ori is important. Mental health is important. Positive self-talk is important. Mindfulness is important. Love of self is important. Trust of self is important. Not superstition, not fear, not, doing things out of fear or worry or desperation. Oh my gosh, God is forbid. You're doing it, you're doing something in your spiritual practice out of desperation. No, it must be in the right spirit. It must be in a calm state of calm, your original state. That's why grounding in nature with the earth element is so important. So that's why I want to talk about Ori. That's why I'm beginning this experiment. And I'm also beginning this experiment because I am aware of certain elements that certain aspects and certain forces that are exploitative in the emotional and spiritual sense. What do I mean by that? I mean this is New Orleans. I live in New Orleans. And it's renowned for all sorts of spooky spiritual stuff. And there are a lot of well-intentioned people out there. Well-intentioned people out there seeking spiritual help and also providing spiritual services. Considering the shift that's happening on the planet right now and in the universe period, but it's specifically here on Earth, considering the shift that we're going through, I believe that the level of exploitation that happens with these people providing spiritual services it provides more harm than good when it doesn't emphasize the power and intuition of the person seeking help. We must do more than simply, tell someone who is lost, but they've been through so much. They've been through so many changes and hardship and heartbreak. And they know they have to seek a higher power, so they're coming to a spiritual healer or whomever. We have to take it upon ourselves to have enough compassion to, yes, tell this person and teach this person how to fend for themselves. Especially with what's coming, especially with what's happening right now. It's become all too important and vital for everyone to protect their energy and to be very vigilant about their ascension. Our ascension, my ascension, your ascension. It's important to be protective of your energy. It's important for you to take responsibility for your learning and your evolution. This is where Ori comes in. This is where Ori comes in. This is where you begin to tap into the programming that has been encoded into your mind to call in your destiny right now. No one can do it for you, no matter how much money you pay. No one can do it for you. No one can do it for me. No one can do it for you. Your destiny is up to you. My destiny is up to me. Right? So that's why taking care of the head, taking care of your soul, praying to your head. The Ifa, the traditional Ifa devotees, the villages out there in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, where there are children who study the old dues from like yay high, like little kids studying all of the old dues and being immersed in it. These places, these magical spiritual places which exist, these people are aware of the necessity to pray to your own head, to pray to your Ori, because your Ori has all the answers. The Ori has all the answers where it comes to your destiny, your personal destiny. No one is going to tell you what it is. No one is going to show you what it is. No one is going to bring you closer to what it is, no matter how mystical or just fabulous or glamorous this person seems to be in terms of spirituality. The real tea is that the answer is always me. That's the tea. Right? Ashe. Ashe-o. So the power is in us to activate it. And that's why I began this experiment, because I want to talk about Ori. I want to talk and share about what I've learned about Ori. And yeah, I just felt it necessary to speak on what I know as spiritual exploitation running rampant in New Orleans, but this is not the only place. all over the place, but it's especially very much rampant here. Ain't gonna name no names. We don't do that. Much too love in my heart to have an issue. Much too much love in my heart to have an issue with anyone. Like, I am lighthearted. I am cultivating lightheartedness, love, compassion for myself and for others. And I love myself enough to let go of anger, let go of any sense of disappointment or whatever. Like, we have to love ourselves enough to let go of the heaviness so that we can invite the divine in. Starting with ourselves, starting with our Ori. Some people call it the third eye. Yeah? Some people call it that. Some people call it the first eye. I find it interesting that Ori sounds like aura. You know, your energy field. There's much, much, much to discuss. And I just wanted to open this experiment with my thoughts on Ori. I've discussed the two main components of Ori, which include Ori Apari Inu, which is the inner character, and Ori Apere, which is the throne of your consciousness, which is tied with your Ayan Mo destiny. Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit about Ori, or maybe you already knew about Ori and you just wanted to know what my thoughts were on it. And I appreciate you. I wish you much love and prosperity, light, satisfaction, contentment, and lightheartedness. Peace.